This past year, we did 1.3 million in premiums for 24 clients, and we are going to go over if surrender charges are worth it. 3 points. Number one, what are surrender charges and why do they exist? Second, how do they impact the policyholders? And third, in what situations are they not worth it? First, surrender charges are charges that you pay when you surrender the policy. So if you're someone who understands that IUL is a long-term vehicle and you're not planning to surrender the policy, but rather if you want to access your money, you would do that via withdrawals or loans, you don't have to worry about these charges. Very simple. These are charges that are there generally within the first 10 years. It can depend on the product and the company. But if you decide to completely surrender the policy, withdraw all of your cash and cancel it, this is the charge that's going to be applied. Now, the reason this actually exists, why they have the surrender charge, is because when someone pays premiums into any type of life insurance policy, what that insurance company is doing is taking the premiums, going and putting it into double and triple A bonds, mortgages, treasuries, whatever it might be. They're investing that money, and the longer that they're able to keep your money and invest it, the more it benefits them. So what they need to do so they can keep that money to invest in their general account portfolio so that they can credit you interest and of course profit as a company is de-incentivize you to withdraw. Also, they have commissions to pay the agent. They also need money to pay out other death claims. This is very simply to incentivize the person to keep their money in the policy, to stick in there for the long haul so that 20, 30 years down the road, they can really start to see the tax-free benefits. So second, how do they impact policyholders? You still are going to have access to a very large chunk of your money. Almost up to 90 to 95% of the money that you put in, of the account value, you can generally access within the first 1 to 3 years. If you're worried about just being able to access the money if some sort of emergency came up, this is not a problem. Again, really how these impact the policyholder is if you're trying to cancel the policy in those early years. So third, when are these charges not worth it? Well, there's two scenarios here. One, if you're trying to use IUL as a short-term vehicle, if you're not planning on sticking with it, of course, don't bother with the product. The surrender charges are going to be there within the first 10 years. And then second, if for whatever reason you wanted access to the entire amount, which still probably says you're missing the point of Indexed Universal Life, but if that is the case, some companies do have a rider that you can put on to have 100% liquidity instead of that 80 to 90% within the first 2 years. Hopefully this video was helpful. There are fees and commissions to look out for and how these affect the policy. Surrender charges, on the other hand, only are a charge that happen when you surrender. Subscribe.